We're back with some more Chicago Bears franchise. Now, last time it was the complete offseason. If you did not watch that episode, certainly go back and watch it, because we did all of free agency. We signed a couple guys. We also did the entire draft. So if you want to see who I signed in free agency and who I drafted, definitely go ahead and check out that last episode. But since that last one, I have changed the names of the drafted players. So this means then, don't ask to be any of the rookies I just drafted, okay? Because I already changed their names. I have to say that because I'll usually get comments throughout like the entire second season in one of my franchises asking to be named one of the rookies I'm using. So don't be one of those people, please. I will certainly be changing names of future draft classes as well. So I'm sorry if you didn't get chosen, but you definitely still have a chance down the line if you would like to be named a player in a future draft class. But without further ado, let's go ahead and introduce this draft class. The first selection from the Chicago Bears was defensive tackle Tank Carter out of Virginia. 6'5", 297, he's 22 years old. Now, he was a menace in college, breaking off double teams consistently. He was one of the guys that every single offense was trying to game plan around when it came to playing against Virginia. The only problem is that he's had some injury concerns in the past. He missed a good chunk of his senior year because of a nagging knee injury, and because of that, he kind of fell down draft boards. Going into his senior year of college, he was a consensus top 5 pick. But because of the injury concerns, he fell down the draft boards and the Bears were able to get him in the middle of the first round. The Bears then decided to add some much needed speed to this secondary. They selected Darius Lofton, cornerback from Arizona State. They managed to get him in the later part of the first round, and this still baffles me. Granted, it was a very loaded cornerback class, but I certainly saw him going in the top half of the first round. He does struggle in man coverage occasionally. He kind of used his speed in college to make up for his lapses in man coverage, but he's super solid and technically sound when it comes to zone coverage. He also has a tendency of dropping interceptions. He doesn't have the best hands, but that's something that can certainly be worked on and ironed out at the NFL level. The third consecutive defensive pick here for the Bears, Spencer Hayes, defensive end from Oregon. This is an interesting prospect. He'd have a couple blow-up games every once in a while, where he'd rack up 3 to 4 sacks, a ton of pressures, a bunch of tackles for loss, and then he would just be erased from some other games against the higher quality tackles in college football. This is definitely a player to look out for at the NFL level. I don't know if he's going to start right away, might be rotationally involved on this defensive line, but if he can capture some of the magic he had in a few of those weeks during his senior year, I think he can actually be very good. Now, Drew Johnson is certainly not your stereotypical slot receiver, but that's mainly where he played at Florida. 6'4", 231. This man is massive, but he can absolutely move. Ran a sub 4.4 40 at his college pro day, just over a 4.4 at the NFL Combine. He's more than capable of running with the faster corners in the NFL. His main limitations are when he's trying to run medium to deep routes. He's just not that crisp. Seems a little bit awkward, isn't great on the breaks, but short route running, he has that down to a T. The thing with this receiver though, if you send him on a streak, he will probably come away with the football. He can jump over a building. Just a very unique athletic profile for his size. Very excited to see what he can do with Justin Fields on the Bears. Now, this pick did not make that much sense to me. Michael Watt, right tackle from LSU. I know the Bears have a huge need at tackle. Their right tackle, whoever was starting for them this last year, was always awful. It was kind of a rotating door. It didn't matter who went in. They just kind of let everybody just go straight by, and Justin Fields struggled mightily because of that. But Michael Watt is not the answer. He's incredibly raw. Has some strength for sure, but doesn't really do anything particularly well in terms of blocking. He routinely got beat by some of the NFL caliber edge rushers in college football this last season, and he specifically had trouble with the faster, shiftier edge rushers coming off that side. Michael Watt's a player who will probably just end up being a backup for this team. It would be very doubtful that he actually gets a starting job at any point, barring any injuries. Sticking with the offense here again for the Bears, Caleb Johnson, running back from Mississippi State. Now, this man is an absolute bruiser. He's not going to really juke by you all that often, but he'll run through you for sure. Doesn't fumble really at all. Only had about a handful of fumbles his freshman year, but he really fixed that the rest of college football. He did not fumble once his senior season. Has the stiffest of arms in this class, and he will absolutely make you pay if you try to bring him down and try to wrap up one-on-one. Not exactly sure why this player fell down boards. Maybe teams were concerned about his in-game speed. He ran pretty well at the combine, but on film he looked a little bit slower. But I don't think that'll be a big issue for him. I expect him to get the majority of the goal line work for this team. He may even become the 3-down back if he can figure out his whole catching situation. Doesn't have the best hands, but that's something that could potentially be worked on. If not, look for him to get subbed out on 3rd downs. But I do think he will definitely be a strong contributor to this Bears team. This is tremendous value for the Bears. I had Trevor Humbert going in the 3rd round. He's a bit raw, has some room to grow, but I think he has the potential to become a starting caliber offensive lineman. It might not be this year, it might not even be next year, but I think eventually he can become a very solid offensive lineman. He struggles against more powerful defensive linemen, which could be an issue with him being an interior O lineman going up against those big D tackles and big interior defensive ends and whatnot. But he is very solid when it comes to run blocking, and the Bears weren't that good running the football last year. So that certainly could have factored into their decision in taking Humbert. We'll see if he does see the field this year, though. Another player I had going much earlier, Shane Thomas, linebacker from Nebraska. Thomas is 6'2", 254, and he actually runs very well. Has an issue getting off blocks, that's for sure, but he's a rather sure tackler. He hits very hard, and he's flying all around the field. Struggles in coverage as well, but he should at least make an impact on special teams right away. He could eventually see the field because aside from Roquan Smith, the Bears have a fairly weak linebacking core. The last selection then for the Chicago Bears, Marcelo Jimenez. Very, very small guy, 5'8", receiver from Colorado. But he can absolutely move. He might be the fastest pure runner in this entire class. Doesn't really run the route tree well, also doesn't have great hands, but he was one of the best special team kick returner and punt returners in college football this last season. It got to a point where teams just elected to not kick his way entirely. He was so dangerous on those situations. He even got some snaps out of the backfield. He's kind of a gadget player here, at least he was in Colorado. That could transition into the NFL. I don't really see him becoming a full-time receiver, considering his size. But he should at least make an impact on special teams, and maybe even look for him checking into the backfield every once in a while. So those are the brand new rookie players on the Chicago Bears roster. Thank you so much for all the name suggestions. I really appreciate it. Let me know if I spelled any of the names incorrectly, because that has happened from time to time. Also, you can tell me the cosmetics of the player if you would like. I'm not going to be changing, though, their height, their weight, their age, or their college. I'm going to leave those all the same. But, you know, I can change the numbers, I suppose. I can change some of the equipment and stuff like that if you would like. But, you know, the stuff that potentially impacts the game I don't want to touch, like their height and weight. The college doesn't, but, you know, I just, you know, talked about all their colleges before, so I don't really want to change any of those. But also, here's a look at the team. This will probably be the starting roster, at least heading into the preseason. Will likely end up this way for the regular season as well. There's still a couple different players I should sign. We certainly need a backup quarterback, for example, probably 2 of those. Maybe some other backup players as well, like safety. I don't really want Lofton being our backup free safety, that's for sure. We have a bunch of cornerbacks on the team. Maybe we get rid of some of them, like David Long we could potentially get rid of. I wouldn't mind even trading him. I only signed him to a 1-year deal, so he's certainly a guy we could trade. I only took him as like a depth corner and also in case I didn't get a corner in the draft, but we certainly did. So I don't really need Long on the team anymore. Mario Edwards could move. Muhammad could move. There's a couple guys who could certainly move teams before the season begins. I did already look at free agency. I looked at all like the rookies and stuff to see if I can find any hidden development trade players, and I couldn't. But I will continue to look throughout the preseason. I do want to get a couple mentor quarterbacks again, though. So we're going to go ahead and snag Tyrod Taylor, and we will probably also snag Case Keenum. Unless there's like a rookie quarterback with any kind of potential. There's no rookies, really. There's Drew Davidson. He's the only guy, and he's a 54. 90 throw power, though. Look at that. That's sick. No, okay. I'm just going to go ahead and get Case Keenum, I think. Just to get 2 mentor quarterbacks. That's usually a good idea. Also, like I said, we could use a safety. And there are some pretty good backup safeties here. Like Marcus Epps isn't that bad. Let me check out some speed, though. No one's like super fast here, so I don't mind getting Marcus Epps as our backup free safety. Might be the backup strong safety as well, honestly. Let me check out what the strong safeties look like. Actually, I don't mind having Landon Collins. Also, if he can come in on special teams, that would be really useful because he has some good hit power. I think we're also going to have Spencer Hayes rush off the edge. He might swap time with Bryce Huff, but maybe at least for the preseason, we'll have him rush off the edge. Let's see how he does. I've actually changed my mind with my backup strong safety. I'm going to make it Kareem Jackson because he has that mentor tag. And I think that could help Jaquan Brisker out at least a little bit. We also still have some trade offers here for Cole Kmet. A 3rd round draft pick. That's kind of enticing. Robert Quinn. I'm not getting Robert Quinn back. Brady Christensen and a 3rd round pick. That's a little enticing, but I still think I want to keep Cole Kmet. We could potentially draft a tight end with that 3rd round selection, but I think I'm content having Kmet as my number 2. I think we're going to go ahead and change the playbook as well. I really did not vibe with the 49ers playbook. I really don't know which playbook to go with. Let's try the Cardinals out. Why not? Seems like it could be kind of fun. I want to say as well that I made some tweaks to the sliders. I am copying Mr. Hurricane sliders. I think him and Matt 10 were trying to find a good slider set, and this is what Mr. Hurricane used in his first regular season game with his Titans team and his Titans franchise. So if you want to copy these sliders, go ahead. But I liked what they looked like when Hurricane used them. So I'm going to go ahead and try to use them here for this next season. And hopefully it turns out pretty well. But we're going to go ahead and play the preseason games. I'm just going to play the moments of them. I'm also not going to worry about my weekly strategy. I don't care all that much in the preseason. This is kind of just to show some of the rookies. Let's see what they can do. And hopefully nobody gets hurt. We do have injuries on, but I want to keep it that way. If players get hurt in the preseason, they get hurt in the preseason. It just kind of sucks. We are out on the offense here. We have a couple new faces. We got Dawson Knox now. Donovan Peoples-Jones on the field. See if we can find Peoples-Jones over the middle here in a second. He will be open. Only a gain of 7 on 4th and 3. I'd like to go for it, though. It's preseason. I don't really care all that much. See if we can grab the first down. Gonna look for Dawson Knox, I think, here. Knox is open. His first catch as a Bear. It doesn't actually count, but still, it's worth something, I guess. Mooney's gonna be open. That's a good completion. 19-yard gain all the way down to the 1. Caleb Johnson getting his first action, and that's gonna be a touchdown. Hopefully we see a lot of that throughout the season. He has some speed. Can he get open? He absolutely can. Marcelo Jimenez. I really don't know if I'm going to throw him the football much at all. We're going to throw my man Johnson on a fade, though. Let's see if he can get open in the end zone. Johnson going to make the grab. All right, we might have to try to do that throughout the season as well. Drew Johnson. What a play. That's going to be it for the first preseason game there. Did we win that one, or did we tie? We actually tied. Nice. 17-17. I'll take it. But Johnson looked pretty good. Threw a couple jump balls to him. He actually didn't come down with all that many, but man, was he jumping high. I gotta be honest. My man was getting some leverage. I feel like we're going to be able to capitalize on that throughout the season somewhere. One more thing I've been meaning to do. I'm going to go over to punters, and I'm going to take the Bills punter out of the game. All right, I made him a running back, and he's a 12 overall. I hope the Bills just cut him and then sign another punter. If they don't, then I don't know. I'll make sure they get a punter somehow. And honestly, something else I should probably do. I forgot to boost up Jimmy Garoppolo's stats again. So I decreased his stats in the first week of this series because I wanted Trey Lance to be playing. And I completely forgot to boost back up his stats again. All right, so Jimmy G is back up again. He's at a 75. That didn't really affect anything, though. That just meant Trey Lance played the whole season for the 49ers, which I wanted to happen anyway, so I'm okay with that. Now we have to take on the Cincinnati Bengals. Let me try to mess with my depth chart, though. Last time I tried to do this, it like glitched out the game. But let me see if I can set it one more time. Hopefully this works, and we can actually play through this game normally. But let's load into this game against the Cincinnati Bengals. All right, it's 4th and 4. We're getting crushed. I don't really care. Let's see if we can find Johnson. I think now. Yeah, Johnson's open. Oh, he can't use the speed to get away. I'll still take that, though. Good completion. And that's picked off. Nice. Throwing interceptions even in preseason. We're going to try not to do that as much in the regular season this year. That's a pick 6, isn't it? No, it is. I'm just so good at throwing pick sixes, man. I don't know what to say. Yeah, our right tackle, I think, is going to be an issue this year. Trey Hendrickson, 2.5 sacks already. Let me just take one small look to see what just happened. Oh, yeah, that wasn't even close. Yeah, the right tackle is going to be a fun one this year, man. This game has certainly not been very eventful, but we're back on the offense. Second team. So we got a couple of the rookies in. See what Johnson can do on this run play. Not horrible. Pretty good blocking there, actually, from the O-line. Triangle will be open. Is this Osborne? It is. I think he was on our practice squad all last year. He's actually not that bad, though. I think he's like a 74 overall. Certainly better than a lot of practice squad guys. Hey, Jones is going to be open. He still has speed. That's nice to see. Of course he does. He's like 26, so he's not regressing just yet. But sadly enough, he's going to be very close to regressing in like the next season. They're calling pass interference on the defense. That's like in the end zone. We're on the 2-yard line. Let's score. Circle. Yeah, it's going to be caught. Let's go. We scored. Doesn't matter at all, but at least I got a touchdown. So that's going to be one of the more one-sided preseason games we'll probably ever see, honestly. But it's all good. It's just preseason. We'll destroy the Bengals in the regular season if we play them. But the final preseason game against the Denver Broncos. We've also had like nothing to do in the preseason, which actually sucks quite a bit. No camp standouts, nothing like that, no mentorships. But let's play the final preseason game against the Broncos. Yeah, I'm just really not getting many moments right now, dude. We're losing 42-0. Can I get something here to do? Like, nothing's happening. We got Thomas here on the defense. Let's actually user him a little bit. That's actually going to be a 4th down not converted. Jimmy G checking in. We just made him good, too. Well, better. Maybe not good, but better. Okay, can I play it? Okay, I literally did not. I got like 3 moments that game. That's amazing. Honestly, not a huge deal. Preseason doesn't actually matter all that much, at least in our situation. We're not having many positional battles at the moment. So there was no one who I really wanted to check out, but it still would have been kind of nice, I guess. I am going to check out free agency again, though, right now. Can we look at people on practice squads yet? I don't think we can. I think it's the next week we can do that, so let's simulate 1 week. We have to cut 13 players. Before I do that, though, let me check out free agency. Might have to cut a little bit more after this. My man N'Keal Harry made it into free agency. Same thing with Ramondre Stevenson. Akeem Davis Gaither is a free agent. He might be kind of decent, man. 88 speed with 92 acceleration. I think we sign him. I feel like he can play over Ben Burke-Irvin. And I think we can actually use a 3rd tight end. So Darnold Parham. Let's grab him, dude. He's 6'8". I think we might actually sign Morgan Moses as well for this offensive line. Our right tackle was struggling in the preseason. We just need someone better. There are no other free agents who I wanted to sign. So we are now good to go cut some players. We can cut 16 players. We have 3 more players that we have to cut, but I kind of want to look at a trade first. I was looking at a couple of the trade block guys, right? And we got like Malik Willis down here. He could be kind of fun being our backup quarterback. We already have 2 backups, but who knows? And then we also got my man Daniel Fa'alele here, or however you pronounce his last name. I'm not sure if I butchered that or not, but he is massive. Part of me wants to try to trade for him. I'm not really sure, though. N'Kobe Dean. There's just so many players who probably shouldn't be here. Like people who were just rookies. Might be a little cheesy to go after them, so I don't think I'm going to. Even though the right tackle's super, super tempting, I'm not going to do it. So instead, let's just work out a manual trade. We're going to just try to trade a couple guys here. So David Long, I don't need on the team anymore. Jalen Johnson, obviously, will be the #1 corner. Kyler Gordon, I think, will be like the slot, and then we're going to have Darius Lofton be the 2. Then I do not want Mario Edwards anymore. Clears up some cap as well. Same thing with Muhammad. We'll also clear up a little bit of cap. So we should be able to get something for this. I decided not to trade for a player, so we're going to get rid of David Long, Mario Edwards, and Muhammad, moving them to the Eagles for their 3rd round selection. I feel like this could be a decent pick. Sometimes the Eagles kind of suck, but they could also be very good, so I don't really know how this draft pick is going to go. But we do have another 3rd round selection. I do want to check out another thing, though, because I forgot to do this last year. I want to look at some trades. What went on so far in the preseason. So obviously that's the trade we just made. Ashton Davis is on the Falcons now in exchange for Chris Barnes. Interesting. Rocky Sin is on the Bengals. Mike Hilton, member of the Raiders now. A couple other guys changing teams down here. All right, Hayden Hurst moving around a little bit more. Nothing crazy right now in the preseason, but that is going to do it for the preseason. Let's advance, where next time we have to take on the Green Bay Packers. Whole lot of stuff to do for this game. We can set the season goal, do the opening day keys, game plan for Aaron Rodgers, hire and assign scouts, do all that fun stuff. I'm actually going to end the episode here upgrading some players. Got 4 players here. So let's go ahead and spend these upgrade points. Now, Bryce Huff has horrible block shed. I want to try to get that better. Run stopper it is, +2 to block shed. Makes it a 64. His block shed is just awful. Davion Taylor, one of the new star developing players on this team. Let's go into run stopper. Let's just make him a little bit better. 72 overall. +3 block shed. I'll take that. Might as well spend Antoine Brooks Jr.'s. He doesn't really play that often, but I'll spend it. 67 overall for the strong safety. Whole lot of upgrades right here. A lot of +1s. Agility and acceleration. Those are pretty big. And then Cairo Santos. Let's go into power. 78 overall. 1 to kick accuracy. Love how that works. Let's go. But thank you so much for watching this video. Next time we will take on the Green Bay Packers. Hopefully this season goes better than the last one. But I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.